Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Marilyn Monroe with the Culture Club. I am here solo for now. Our Green Eyes, Miss Green Eyes, is not feeling too well, and she'll be joining us later. But this podcast is gonna be lit because this guest isn't a guest for me, but is a guest to y'all. Well, actually, she probably not because she's known all over the DMV and beyond. She is actually my cousin, but my sister, like true sister. She is the DMV goat of real estate. And I mean old real estate, not the real estate that everyone wants to kind of hop in and hop out of when they thought they could get a couple 100,000, whatever. But she is old school real estate, the best real estate advice, resource you could ever have. And she is mine. She is my sister cousin, Miss um, Real Estate Michelle herself. So clap it up for Miss Real Estate Michelle. Thank you for joining. This is so
Thank
exciting for me.
you for having
Yes.
me.
Yes. So I want to, of course, I know all of the background, but I want you to be able to share yourself with those who don't know or may not know all of it, in which they won't still know all of it, but just to give them a tidbit of just your history of real estate, how you began, and where you are now.
Oh, that's a great throwback. So I actually
Right.
got into real estate. Right. I gotta think about it. So I got into real estate 21 years ago. So almost my whole adult life. And I got into real estate when we learned out of a book. So that's how long ago it's been. So I started my career back then where I actually learned out of a book. We didn't do all the computer stuff. And I started my career as a real estate agent, which was amazing. I was a buyer's agent, so which means I was mainly taking out buyers at the time. And that was an amazing experience. And then I became just an agent, like doing both sides, like listing houses, selling houses, being a buyer's agent. And I grew from there into a mortgage loan officer, which I've been doing those for the last 14 years as well, doing loans. And also I am a real estate investor, which I have
Yes.
been active. Well, I've always kind of been a real estate investor, but I've been a real real estate investor since 2017. So for the last, how many years is it? 7 years I've been a
Yes.
full time, along with the other things that I do. I do real estate investing as well, mainly flipping houses and turning what I call nightmare houses into dream homes.
All
So,
right.
hmm?
And you do it so well. You do it so well.
Thank
So,
you.
tell me how or who came up with the name um, Real Estate Michelle. I mean, obviously it's your name, that's what you do, but like just the whole run of Real Estate Michelle.
So, I kind of started calling myself that because everybody would say, Michelle, that's in real estate. You in real estate. It was always me and real estate together, like we were married, right? So I was like, okay. So I just started calling my own self Real Estate Michelle. And so it just kind of caught on. So like everybody's just calling me Real Estate Michelle. And I'm like, okay, I'm Real Estate Michelle then. So so it's kind of
Well,
hard to say, oh, Michelle the realtor, oh, Michelle the investor, Michelle the
it's
loan.
just quick.
It's just quick, Real Estate
Yeah.
Michelle. So I'm a one-stop
Yeah.
shop.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, okay, just beyond the background of real estate, just tell me a bit of background about you personally. Of course, again, I know, but just for the people, for the culture.
What y'all want to know culture? No, I'm kidding. So, uh, so I, of course, am in the DMV area, which is what we call Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So I'm from actually originally Annapolis, Maryland, which you know that. I am a mom of three boys, absolutely amazing three boys, so they keep me busy as well. Um, I love real estate, as y'all know. I'm a forever lifelong learner. I love learning. I'm a nerd. Um, And I'm a vegan usually. Usually, I do eat a little seafood here and there, but because I'm from Maryland, so we do seafood. And so I do eat a little bit of seafood here and there. But what I like to do in my free time, I love traveling. I love seeing things and going to new places. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff I could go on, but we'll keep it short and brief
I
and simple.
bet. I
Yeah,
bet. Well, it's
yeah,
all about you, boo. So I have collected a few questions that some of the culture wanted me to ask you on behalf of them. And so
yes,
I'll start with the first question. And it's regarding purchases of homes.
yes.
The question is, what credit score do you need to purchase a house?
Great question. So, it really depends on what kind of loan you want to utilize and if you want to use a down payment assistance and things like that. So, if you have a little money, you can buy at a 580 credit score, and that would qualify you for a what's called an FHA loan. Now, every lender isn't the same, but I deal with a very liberal lender who I am associated with. We're very liberal, so which means we can get a lot of stuff done that a lot of people can't get done. So 580 credit score if you have some money to put down. If you need money, as in down payment assistance, then you would need at least a 640, what we call middle credit score, which is your mortgage score to qualify to purchase a home. So 580 to purchase, 640 to use any programs.
Okay. Do you know
Yeah.
of any programs? Do you have a program currently?
Oh yes. So I have
Okay.
here in Maryland, we have the Maryland Mortgage Program, which is an amazing program. And then we also, another program that I like using is called the Chenoa program. We do Chenoa in-house, and Chenoa is a national program. So you can use it in any state, and Chenoa covers the entire down payment and also sometimes can cover part of your closing costs. So down payment and closing costs or just down payment, it just depends. So the minimum credit score for that program, as stated earlier, is at least a 640 middle credit score. So you don't even have to be a 700. Like some people think, oh, I got to have real high credit to buy a house. I got to be over
Yeah.
700, 750. That is absolutely not true.
Okay. You heard it. And she knows. Like I said, the goat of real estate. She knows. And if she doesn't, she will definitely find out.
Yes.
So okay, that was that first question. So the second question I had is, let's see. I want to get one. What are some red flags when looking for or searching for a house to buy?
Red flags when searching for a house. So it ultimately depends on what you're doing with that house, right? So if you're purchasing a house to live in, obviously you want the house functional. So you want everything to be working. You want your heat to work. You want your plumbing to work. You want your electrical to work. Um, you also, what we always tell people is look at resale. So if you look at a house and you say, would I buy this house? Would I buy this house, right? Or are you just buying it out of emotion, right? So you got to step away and say, okay, when I'm ready to sell this house, who's going to buy this house? So you want to look at all those factors. Is the house
That's
in a
good.
flood zone, right? Because flood zones are harder to get insured. Obviously, they flood out more, so you'd be doing more insurance claims and you could just have problems with that in the long run. There could be
Yeah.
mold, all kinds of things. So you kind of just want to ask yourself those questions. But it's always resale. That's always the answer, is what is the resale potential of this house? um, because in this generation, in this day and time, we are not our parents, and we do not keep our house for 30 years. We just don't, like they used to. So we're going to probably average about 3 to 5 years, and then we're going to sell the house. So you want to look at the
Yeah.
resale value
That
of a house. Yeah.
that's a really good that's really good advice. That's good. Some people think that, once they purchase a house, they are to keep that house forever. So to think of ahead,
Hmm.
that's very smart because life hits you and sometimes you can't hold on to what you thought
Yep.
you could keep forever. So
Yep.
That's really a
Resale is
good tip.
always my answer. And I'll also say that because we're a microwave generation. So we don't keep our houses for
Yes.
30 years. So you know the
Right.
likelihood of you purchasing something else in 3 to 5 years is high. So you want to make sure that what you're purchasing, somebody else is going to want to buy.
That's right.
Hmm.
Okay. So another question is, let's see, what is an important factor when looking for a real estate agent? What is some of the things you should consider?
That is a great question. So you want to interview them just like you would interview anyone, because you can have someone who's been in the business for 30 years and you all just don't mesh, right? Because
Yeah.
it is somebody that you're going to be working with very, very closely for a period of time. And if your personalities just don't mesh, then that's not a person you want to be working with, right? So I
Yeah.
would definitely say, interview them like you would do anything else. See how you're connected to that person. Then you also want to look at experience, and that I'm being very honest. Not saying you can't give a first time person a chance, because everybody started somewhere. Because I started somewhere. Everybody in this business started somewhere. But I've had situations where on the loan officer side, their realtor didn't know even how to write a contract. So I had to help them write a contract, right? So you just want to make sure that your person has enough, even if they don't have the experience, they have at least the support to get what they need to get you to the table. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that knowledge
Good.
is going to be important. Yep. So I've worked with some new agents who are way better than agents that have been in the business for 40 years. But that's because they're green, they're learning, they have the support. So you definitely want to just interview them. And in this market, we had some changes over the last couple of weeks. There's a NAR settlement. A lot of people may have may not heard of it. It's in the news. And so you want to also ask your agent what are their fees, because fees have also changed, whereas the buyer is responsible for paying the commission if the seller doesn't, which is the norm, which has always been the
Yeah.
norm, and it's always been negotiable. However, it's traditionally over the last 20 years fell on the seller, so the buyer usually doesn't have to pay the commission. But now
Yeah.
they've changed that rule where the seller can basically say, I'm not paying nothing. And the buyer would have to pay the commission. So it's a conversation to also have with a potential agent. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's really good to know. So if you're looking to buy a house, please, 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 you might want to write this stuff down because I know you're not gonna remember. So write this stuff down. But also before I go into the next question, give the culture your information to look you up on social media, and information that they can reach out to you for possible, I guess, loan requests.
Absolutely. So you can always go find me on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm actually Real Estate Michelle. If you like, type me in. The actual URL has to do with like Real Estate Michelle. I'm Michelle Larkin Bay on my personal page. Then I'm also Michelle Larkin Loan Officer on my professional page, and I'm Michelle Larkin Realtor on my other page. So I have two different professional pages you can find me on.
So how busy? And I hear your phone. I hear your phone, and of course I know how that works even when we're on the phone. So
Hmm.
how busy are you, and like what is your out, like this is my question to you, even though I know most of the answer, but I just know it's the other side of things. Like
Yep.
how busy are you in 24 hours?
That's a trick question. But this is good for the culture. I will answer that.
For
So
the
I'm very
culture.
busy in 24 hours. A lot of people don't really even realize, even my own mother didn't realize until recently. She re-retired. Congratulations. And And she literally came over to my home office where I'm sitting now. And she's just like, this is crazy, you know? And I'm like, yeah, this is my life every day. And I'm not complaining about the busy because it's a good busy, because I actually see what I do as a ministry, because a lot of people who thought they couldn't do this actually do it. But I'm very busy because I do take the time to teach and to educate people in the culture, how to do
Yes.
this, and how to create general wealth, generational wealth through real estate, which is very, very important to to this generation and generations to come. So yeah, I'm busy, and my usual hours are from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. usually, but sometimes I do work outside of those hours to make it convenient for people who do work.
Yes. That I know, because I hear your
Hmm.
phone going, and you have like multiple phones and multiple. Yeah, you have a lot going on. So yeah, it gets real. It's
Yeah.
real.
It's all the way live. It can be all the
Yes.
way live. Yes.
Yes. Oh gosh. So, last question is a question, and I believe you answered it. But it's a question of how much would you need for a down payment?
Mhm.
How much is a normal down payment?
Yep.
If you go to find a place or a home, like what is earnest money? What does that look like? What does a down payment look like?
Sure. So a down payment, typically, if you're going to use the FHA loan, is 3.5%. If you're going to use a conventional loan, which I call those loans a little bit more grown up, so they're not always the best for first time home buyers. Usually, FHA is the better for first time home buyers, and I'm gonna say usually because it's not a one size fits all, but usually. So it's 3.5%. Conventional is 5% down. But like I said, if you need assistance, there are programs out here who can help you. And whenever I talk to clients, I always, especially in our beginning conversations, I said, listen, there are three most important factors to getting a home. It's your credit, your income, your assets, in that order. Because once you get your credit right, as long provided you have income, we can get the assets, right? So we always start with credit, and once we get that together, then people really realize how not hard it is to buy a house, because a lot of
Right.
people will hide behind their credit got messed up, and they don't know how to fix it. They don't know where to begin. So once we tackle that, then all the rest of the pieces fall into place. And most people that come to me, even with bad credit, provided that they stick with the plan that I give them, typically will buy in 6 to 12 months, and they surprise their own self.
Hey, it is
Yeah,
definitely a ministry because
it
it's
is.
definitely, that is one rated, or how like the highly, it's on the list of things to do in life is to purchase a house.
Yep.
Because for so long the culture, we weren't purchasing homes.
Yeah.
We were renting, we were staying with,
Hmm.
our cousin's cousin.
Hmm.
So, to
At grandma
purchase, to
house.
really, at grandma's house. Um, but to really like be able to like find and afford and you know, kind of check that off your list of things I've done in my life,
Yeah.
whether you end up selling or whatever. But that
Yeah.
is a big deal. And that's definitely a part of ministry because, like you said, you're able to change lives,
Yeah.
and make dreams come true.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
your service.
You're welcome.
Thank
Like I
you,
said,
Coach. Y'all gotta clap it up for her. Like, absolutely. This
I
is what
do
it's
it.
about.
I
It's the
do it for. Yes, I made it a point to learn this business and learn it well, because I wanted to
That's right.
give something back.
And you
And
do.
the education that
You
you gain,
share
and
your
the
knowledge.
education you
Yes.
gain. Mm-hmm.
You share your knowledge, you share your time, and
Mm-hmm.
those two are free. You don't charge for that.
Yes.
You give the basics, but then of
Nope.
course it's a line that you do have to say, let's, if we want to move forward, let's continue. And think of a way of you, of course, it being paid. And
Yep.
you're not never going to get paid your worth, because you are worth so much. I mean, you're definitely a great resource, and
Oh,
you do
thank
great
you.
things. So thank you so much.
You're
I really
welcome. You're welcome.
appreciate. I'm
Thank you.
proud
Thank
of
you
my
to the culture.
sister.
Thank you to the culture. Thank you for
Yes.
having me here. I feel so
Yes. Make
privileged and
sure.
honored. whenever I'm invited
Yes.
somewhere to speak and share, I feel so privileged and honored. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Because we had a part two. This is a half of the podcast. It's real estate, all things real estate. Miss will be a reoccurring guest on our show. She will come in and drop her tidbits or drop anything that's hitting or new to real estate, in which she, like she said, she's a nerd. So she always finds and hears and teaches what is coming up, what's available. With this election time frame, the market will change. It'll be a
Yes.
shift. So she'll be back to kind of like get us caught up with that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. This is
Did you have
wonderful.
anything more regarding real estate? Because we can move on to the topic, honey.
I gotcha. So no, like I
So,
said, with real estate is definitely a generational gift, right? So it is investing into not only yourself but into generations to come. Even if you feel you've been discouraged or that you can't do it or it's just out of reach, don't believe that lie that most people tell themselves. It is in reach. You just have to educate yourself and align yourself with the right people who can help you achieve that goal. And like I said, if you don't have anything else, um, I tell people don't sell grandma's house, right? Keep grandma's house, because that in our culture has always been one of the most important things in our culture. So let's keep that going for our generations to come.
that's right. Um, are they selling grandmas? Is it? Yeah.
Don't
Don't
sell grandma's house. But if you sell
don't sell
grandma's
our
house,
grandma's house.
you sell it to family. You sell it to family.
Yes, I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, you know.
If you
If you
know, you
don't, that's
know.
fine. Okay. 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 So this is again, the Culture Club is about conversation. It's about conversation. It all kind of stemmed from conversations that I had with my most intelligent and some ratchet friends and family. And it just definitely has to be shared with everyone because it's for the culture. It's about the culture. It's,
Mhm.
amongst the culture. So this next topic, Michelle and I discuss probably every other time we are on the phone. We make mention of this topic in comparison based on our life experiences with people, because she is in business with the people. I'm in business dealing with many people as well.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, growing up, we would actually we actually have a language. Michelle and I can add we have an actual language. It's not listed in any publication, but it's a language that her and I speak, and you could sit right next to us or beside us or in front of us, and you would never know we're talking about you. You would never know what we are talking about because we are so connected. We grew up together, like literally like sisters. So
Mhm.
again, with that said, we monitor people, we note people, and then we share our experiences and our notes. So this next topic is about zodiac signs and behavior.
Yes.
And I am a Cancer, female, obviously, but I'm a
Yes.
Cancer, July
Yes.
7th. And she is an Aries.
Yes, I am.
So, yeah, so she's the most masculine sign of the zodiac, and I'm the nurturer, the most feminine.
Mhm.
But we get along great, and we are sister cousins. So we're gonna talk about let's start off with like our relationships. What is your best relationship experience with another zodiac? What do you think you're most comparable, like not comparable, but what you compatible with?
From life experience, I would say we're talking compatibility is like romantic. We're talking romantic, or are we talking friendship?
Romantic. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Romantic.
Romantically, Sagittarius or other fire signs such as Aries and Leo. I was actually married to a Leo, which was a pretty good marriage despite some things. But I would say fire signs are who I'm most compatible with. Other fire signs.
Because you are a fire sign.
Because I'm a fire sign. And because, as you mentioned, fire signs are masculine, they need other masculine. So a lot of
Energy.
times,
Hmm.
signs that are earth and water are just too soft for a masculine fire sign. And that doesn't mean that I don't have softness as a woman, because I'm still woman. But
That's right.
but if there's a thing called alpha women, Aries is definitely an alpha woman who needs an alpha as a partner.
Okay. So
Yes.
you say Sag.
Yes.
Sagittarius. Final answer.
Mm.
Okay. Um,
Sagittarius or other fire signs.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's Sagittarius, Leo, and what's the third fire sign?
Aries.
Okay, you. Okay. So have you been in relationships with all three before or no?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
have.
But your
God help
favorite
us.
is Sag.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. My
Okay.
favorite has been, yes, Sag.
Okay. Well, I beg to differ from myself.
I know. I'm
My ex
perfectly aware
is
of
a
that.
Sag.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And I'm a water sign and he's a fire sign.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe like yeah, you're right. You're onto something with that. But my out of my years, and you know this, my first true love, high school sweetheart, was a Cancer.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older and a woman, because I mean that was high school. I'm a grown woman now. So my match that I am most compatible and have the best experience with is a Cancer. Still,
Mm-hmm.
it remains to
Still,
be.
still the
Um
same.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I honestly feel, and I said this in a podcast that I have done before, I feel like with the Cancers, you know, my the sign for me, I feel like they know how to navigate with me. They know how to
Yeah.
love me. I'm not very much I'm not like mushy mushy, but you gotta like romance me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be like in sync with me to know when to
Mm-hmm.
like give me my space because I do require space.
Mm-hmm.
Um and know that it's okay that I'm not mad or it's
Mm-hmm.
not a bad day. It's just like, give me like 50 feet and, we'll talk later.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cancers really genuinely know how to love me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, without me prompting them to tell them, okay,
How
first
to
you
do
pull
it.
the chair out. Second you,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, and that's kind of
First
like,
you pull the chair out. Second you
yeah, first you, yeah, then you shut the door. Then like,
you shut
like
the
I don't
door.
have to give the direction or instruction on
Mm-hmm.
like what to do with regarding me.
Yeah.
So Cancer for me, and actually I thought about this. Like, if I was a male, would I date myself?
That is a great question to ask yourself.
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
That is like, and you and I have had certain conversations about, you gotta, just like Steve Harvey says, like, you gotta think like a man, right? And it is
Yes.
important to know, what I date. Am I dateable? Am I relationshipable? Am I marriageable? Whatever your goals are,
Yeah.
look yourself in the mirror first before you go out and call yourself.
Search for a partner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've had to do
So
that plenty of times. Like, it's so
yeah,
important to give yourself
would you date yourself?
some days. but I but I think that who I am today, absolutely. There have been some
Okay.
times in my life where I look back at those periods of time and I'd be like, ooh, I don't like who I was.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like me,
Yeah.
because I always love me. But when you look at like your like how you may have responded to a situation or responded to a person, sometimes I look at myself in the mirror like I didn't like that. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I correct that going forward, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah.
Hmm.
And let's just for the record, like dating yourself does not mean like liking yourself. It just means like, do you feel like you could provide those
Yeah.
type of things?
Yeah.
Um, you know, if in fact you were the opposite, if you were or in
Yeah.
even the same, however you date. So yeah. But I totally would date myself.
I did a self eval purposely, um, not that long ago, because I wanted to know other people's perspective, and particularly people that I've had a relationship with, because I wanted to make some corrections and I wanted to see myself from that person's point of view, because sometimes our point of view is distorted because we can only see it from our own mirror. But when we flip that mirror around and have someone else look into it, it's like, oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
And some
Yeah.
of us will say, who cares what people think? It's not about caring what people think, but it's about none of us are perfect and we're all evolving and learning every single day. And it's important to remain open to growth. And that's the only way that we can mature and grow as people, is if we look our own selves in the mirror and make those corrections. So
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah, and be able to take constructive criticism. Um,
absolutely.
and yeah, because we don't see a lot of things. We're biased to
Mhm,
ourselves.
we are.
We are on a lot of
Mhm,
things. And
yep.
then the things that we aren't, it's just like, okay.
Yep.
Because that's like a defense mechanism for
Yep.
ourselves,
Yep.
But yeah, someone will tell you like the truth and say, hey,
Straight up.
you know,
Yeah. Straight
okay,
up.
all right. So let's talk about like let's some signs down. So let's talk what you pick the sign. You pick the sign first, and we'll talk about like the traits and the behaviors that we've learned.
We can start at the beginning of the zodiac. And the beginning of the zodiac is Aries.
Capricorn.
It's Aries.
Okay, yes, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Hmm. So we
Mm-hmm.
can actually want to go in order. We can do that. How about that?
Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
So
So what?
An Aries woman.
Yes.
You say one trait, and let's go back and forth.
Okay.
Okay, you
All
start.
right. That's cool. You want me to start?
Yes.
We're fiery. We're definitely
Okay.
fire. Yep.
I would say dominant.
Yes.
You next.
We are go getters.
I would say bosses.
Yep. Absolutely. We
Uh-huh.
are loyal
Oh,
and
I got a good
loving.
next one.
We
Okay, I
are
got a good
we're
one. I got a
definitely
next
loyal,
one. Okay. I'd
loyal and
say
loving.
I'd say love to be in love.
We do.
Love, love.
We do love. But we'll
Mm-hmm.
also cut you off. We'll definitely cut you off real quick. I told an ex a
Yeah.
long time ago, I will leave him nameless, that I am like a switch. And as long as
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That's
on,
true.
I'm loving, I'm all into you. You're the best thing since sliced bread. I'll do anything for you. I'll support you. All those things. But if I have to turn off
You're
that
done, you're
switch,
done.
when because you've mistreated me, mishandled me, then the switch goes off. And
And
then
that's
you
true.
get,
I've seen it.
yeah, and then you get put in a category of neutral.
Yep.
I don't hate you, but
I've
I don't
seen
have
it.
that same love for you anymore. And that's it. So I've had exes that I've dealt with in the past, and they try to kind of test the waters again. And I'm like, um, no,
Oh
good
man. Mm-hmm.
morning. Good morning. I like you in general, but
Yeah.
that part of
It's
me is
very
gone.
it's very it's very giving. Yeah, it's very
My
giving
switch
like
is done. And I'm
formal.
like, now I just see you from regular eyes. Like, you're not this amazing person anymore.
Yep.
Like, that's gone. That part is gone, and that part is hard for a lot of people to understand about Aries.
I agree. I definitely also think that both the female and male are definitely entrepreneurs,
Yes,
like as far as careers.
we are very. We do not
Definitely,
like to be.
love to be their own boss.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
we don't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to be
like to
put in a
create their own.
box.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
The sky is
So
not the
that's
limit.
Aries. That's right. What's the next one?
In order, Taurus.
Okay.
Tauruses are greedy. They love to eat. Yeah. You haven't noticed that? They love eating. Oh, okay. Well, most of the Tauruses I know, they love to eat.
Tauruses are very like they can become bullying. Like they
Yeah.
throw themselves on, like, they
Yeah.
demand at some point, like, you know, the whatever it is that you could provide to them.
Yeah. They're also
That's what I,
possessive. It's like what's there, they keep their stuff really close. Their kids, their everything just this is mine. And when you get into a relationship with them, they're like, "Oh, this is my person." And they even carry that a lot of times outside of the relationship. You're like, "No, we're not together anymore. We're not doing." And they're still they're still trying to like what like we
we
broke up
broke up
5 years
5 years
ago. What are you
ago.
talking about? God.
Hey,
Oh, so I was like,
no,
hell?
hey, that's
Yup,
what it is. Yeah,
yup.
I never knew greed. I never knew like a glutton. I didn't know that.
Yes. Especially the men. They love to eat. Like it's food is like
Damn.
their life. Yeah.
Uh, this is new for us to discuss that
Yes, they
behavior
they
pattern.
they love eating.
Okay.
They love eating good food
What
though.
what is like a good thing about Tauruses?
They're loyal.
Um,
Very, very
they
loyal.
are.
They can be great friends.
Yeah, I guess. I
They can
mean,
they can be great friends. They're very loyal and they create their own packs. They like their people. They have their people, if that makes sense. Whoever their people are. So it could be like
a few
friends,
people.
family, like they're very
Yeah.
close with their pack. And they're very routine. They don't like coming outside of their routine. They love being at home. They love kind of like doing the same thing, getting up at the same time, kind of doing like a routine type. Like me, I'm not big on routines. Like I have a board. This is my daily whatever I got to do, and it's different every day because those type of routines for Aries bore us to death, right? We don't want to
Yeah.
go to the same places every day, do the same exact thing every day. Before Taurus, that works. They love that.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're very
I had
routine.
more information on a tourist than I can
Oh
imagine.
yeah,
Okay. All
I've
right,
had a
what's
lot of
next?
experience. I've had a lot of experiences with Tauruses over the last few years.
It's crazy because y'all don't know, but we already talking. Y'all didn't even know. Yeah. Okay. All right, what's
Yeah, but
next?
they're extremely, extremely loyal. Oh, and sometimes the greed isn't even just food. Sometimes it can be overindulging. That could be alcohol. That could be drugs. It's just overindulging sometimes, and that could be with anything. You can
You
overindulge
think,
in
you know what? I do think it's maybe also attention.
possibly,
Because I do know a
but
few
they
Tauruses
don't
that,
like unwarranted attention though. They're not attention whores.
hmm,
Mm-mm. No, they're not attention whores.
okay.
You think they are?
I think they require like some type of like,
They do. Yeah,
um,
they mainly
some type of
from
like,
if they're
see
interested in you, they want attention. They definitely
me.
want attention from you. Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
but they're some of the
Who's
most
next?
loyal, hardworking people.
Hardworking. Okay.
Yeah, they work hard. Once they get their heels into something good, oh yeah. it may take them a while to dig their heels into whatever that something good is for them, but once they get into it, they get focused.
I need to like kind of focus in on some Tauruses because I don't think like my majority of experiences. Now, granted, my mom is a Taurus,
Hmm.
but
And Denise had us in a
okay,
routine.
she did, she did, she it very
It was
much
very much get up,
yes,
make your bed up.
yes,
Breakfast is being like they are
yep.
very used
Take a
to
bath,
routine stuff.
get,
Take a
even if
bath,
you're
take a
sick,
bath and stuff.
yeah,
Like it was very routine. Like you already knew we were not sleeping past 7:45. Like we knew that every
no,
day. I don't
no,
care what day of the week it was.
and you could be bleeding, you could be, you could
It
be
don't
dying,
matter. You're not messing
you
up
getting
our
up,
routine.
yep, you getting up.
Yep.
Okay, all right, what's next?
In order, so we have Aries. Hold on, let me not mess up our order. Aries, Taurus, and then we have
Gemini.
Gemini.
Mhm.
Now, I have a whole person with a Gemini, so I'm gonna let you start off with Gemini. I have a whole person in
I
it.
think okay. So I think with Geminis, maybe it's the women. I'm not quite certain on the men, but I do know because again, I notate in my mind. I watch people. I know, just I think Gemini women are can come across and can be have a sense of like jealousy. Um, they could be jealous, like they can underline. You may not know about it, but they have like this hint of jealousy. They're very gossipy in a sense. They love a good cup of tea, and they love to have receipts just in case. I hate to say like possibly like messy, but messy when need be.
So, I have a best friend that's a Gemini. She's actually a
Mm-hmm.
Gemini Cancer. So
Mm-hmm.
she has traits of both because she sits in like a cusp, right? Because her
Okay.
her birthday is June 21st. So that's like
Okay.
right in the middle of you right on that border of both. But she has both
Hey,
traits.
Sherry.
Yes, we're talking about
Okay, be
you.
back.
So she has
Hey,
traits of
hey.
both, but mainly Gemini. She mainly has Gemini traits.
Okay.
Now, coincidentally, right now she's with a Cancer, and
Ooh.
yeah.
How
So
was
so
that?
yeah. I think that she enjoys it because he gives her the Cancer thing. He gives her um
Attentiveness
the
and
attentiveness, the that thing that she needs when she
mm-hmm.
comes home. That she wants that security. That's like her security thing, and I think
Yes.
that she enjoys it. And I think I described that pretty accurate because that's that thing that y'all like you know that thing, and I think he gives that to her very well, and so yeah, but
That's great.
Go, going back to Gemini because we're gonna talk about Cancer. So going back to Gemini, I have two good friends, Sherry being one, and my other friend named Paula is a Gemini, and I have a whole kid with a Gemini who is a male. So Geminis like to talk. Um, yeah, they
Mhm.
talkative, especially the men. They're very talkative, and
Yes.
sometimes and they also have a switch. They also have a switch, and they can turn that switch off and on, and all three of them are the same in that regard. Because when Sherry's done with you, she's done. When Paula is done with you, she's done. And I had a kid with one who forgot he had a kid. Like that's just how they do. Like it's just, oh, let me just turn this switch off. I'm done with that. Like, dude, you have a whole kid over here, and you just decided like, oh well, I'm done. Like, so the men I feel are a little bit more irresponsible when it comes to that thing. They have to actually nurture it to be more mature about it. The women, they just don't walk away from their stuff. They're just not doing that. Yeah. Hmm.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah. But they're goofy. They
All
love to
right. So
laugh. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
goofballs, and they like moving around. Sherry travels. She travels more than I do. She's always moving around. They like that movement. They like, yeah, they like that stuff. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Your
I'll introduce the
turn.
next.
Your
Yes, I'll
turn.
introduce the next. Uh-huh. So the next, obviously, the next sign is cancers.
Yes.
Cancer men and women are just as any signs. It's like, same, same certain things, and then it's definitely difference. But most of all, like it pretty much is really the same in a sense. I think the sign of a Cancer man and a woman is more closer than any other signs because typically, like each sign for a different, man, woman, it's definitely like quite a bit more things on one side than the other. But like when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to Cancer men and women, it's more things in common than not in common, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one of my traits and one of the lies that people love to tell is cancers are babies. We are not babies. We do and we can't, we are emotional. But the emotions come from the moon,
Mm-hmm.
because we're moon child. And but we are definitely emotional. We're very intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like very intuitive.
Very.
Yeah. Almost to the point where it's scary
Yeah. It's
because
like.
then you have to really, like, I know me, I have to
Mm-hmm.
then sit down with myself and figure out, is this like to come, or is this just a, like with dreams or anything like that, is this
Yeah.
really just a dream, or is this really like a future warning, or
A warning.
something I
Yeah.
need to tell? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's the intuitiveness is like really big, but we're
Yeah.
definitely emotional. We're nurturers.
Mm-hmm.
What is some things you think we are? Well, we are.
Yeah. All of those things definitely nurturer. So my grandmother, who shared the same birthday month as you, I was very, very close to her. Very close to her. And I think a lot of that closeness, without all the way knowing, started when I was a baby, because I always felt that nurture thing out of my grandmother, no matter what. She could be telling me something like, "Oh, you and your mother, y'all need to get it together." Because sometimes me and my mother bump heads or whatever, but it was always still like that nurturing thing. And she would always look out for me, her grandkids, everybody for that matter. And she was
Yeah.
very loving and soft. And I think that
Hmm.
that is big traits with cancer, so that they're it's a strong, but it's a softness, but it's strong at the
Yeah.
same time. So you can never really say like, oh, they're such babies, they're so soft, because that lady was hard.
Hmm.
Underneath, she could go at it. Oh, it's time to cut somebody out. Oh, we about to go there with them. You know what I'm saying? But her general personality was loving and nurturing. So,
Yeah.
hmm,
Yeah. That's a natural part of us.
yeah,
But then of course it's the other side, like you said, it's the
hmm,
hard side. Like you're definitely what you won't do,
yeah,
and what I won't do. So yeah,
yeah,
like the sucky thing about us is that we are we're also like I don't know, like maybe it's a me thing. I don't know. Like I don't share this podcast is the most social
I know,
media time.
and
Like
I can
I'm
definitely
very
vouch for
much
that. You are not the one. So this right here is definitely out of her. I don't like saying comfort zone, but this is definitely
yes,
different.
comfort zone.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, it
different.
is. Um, I had to graduate to get to this part. Like, I
Hmm.
had to, release a few things in my life, just
Hmm.
to get to a point of like, okay,
Hmm.
um, it's welcomed, even in my relationship,
Hmm.
because I know that I'm supported,
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
it's not a, yeah, and
Absolutely.
that was what makes me as a Cancer come out of my
Come out.
shell.
Come out. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, we have that, like, if we could show you a little leg, but we ain't gonna show you the whole
We
whole
can show you
leg.
the
Like,
thigh. You might
yeah, we're
show
gonna
the
share
little
with you
bottom or
some.
whatever. Some of it.
Right.
We ain't giving the
Right,
whole
we gonna
thing.
Exactly. We just
Mm-hmm.
not. You got to come back for that,
I know
or
that's
it
right.
takes some time. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the sucky thing. We have to kind of grow into that. We have to get into that. We have to get to a place where we feel comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and we feel confident.
Yes.
So yeah, that's um, the downside of it all. And then
Yep.
we're also just big passionate people. Like like I could see something and it just like, I
Mm-hmm.
totally am like, oh my gosh. And I empathize and sympathize and I'm
Yeah.
just
And you'd
like,
start crying at the drop of a dime.
I
The
would.
drop of a dime.
I
Yes.
would.
Yes.
I
My grandmother
I'll
was
be talking
emotional too.
I'll be
But
talking to her about her stuff
mhm,
and then I'm crying and she like,
yeah. My grandmother was an introverted emotional person because you can tell when something would affect her, but
yeah,
she didn't start crying, but you could see the change in emotions in her. So all that cancer stuff was
yeah,
still right up in there.
yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Yep. And that's men and women. Like I said, the men is
Yep.
is is not far from the women. It's just not. Like with
Now
the cancer.
I've never
What?
dated a cancer, but I think
I think
one,
oh,
huh? What'd you say? What'd you say?
nothing.
I haven't dated a cancer.
You're missing out.
Oh, you silly. No, because I think I'm too hard for them. For the men.
No.
I'm too hard for a cancer. I wouldn't, yeah, I would like hurt a male cancer's feelings, and they would be like, she is just too much, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
not, you know,
Yeah.
because I know sometimes I can be and cancer men are more like, slow down, let's and I'm not that person. I mean, what do you mean slow down? No, let's do this, you know. So that's why I'm good with fire signs because they're like that. Like they're like, "Ah, let's do this. Like we're wired like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What's next?
we have Cancer, and
Leo.
then we're doing an order. Leo.
Leo.
Leos are special. I married one once in my life.
I love that. I love that um you definitely have offered yourself the opportunity to experience.
Yes,
Um
I did.
yeah,
I allowed
unapologetically.
myself the
I love
opportunity.
that. I love that
Yeah.
Elizabeth what is it? What is that woman? Elizabeth, what is that lady that has like 25 husbands? It's
Oh,
like it
now
looks
I
like
ain't gonna be
nothing.
her, but I get what you saying.
I mean, I love that. No, like I mean,
Yeah.
of course, but I'm just saying, yeah, Elizabeth Taylor. Mm-hmm.
Taylor, yeah.
Honey. But yeah, so
So yeah, my
Leo.
first marriage was to a Leo. Now Leo has a big ego. They have big egos. They are fun. They're exciting. They're spontaneous. They're smart. They're protective. Um, they have big egos. So a lot of times, that's where Aries and Leo sometimes can bump heads. That was the problem with my marriage, is that when we bumped heads, we weren't able to untangle those, you know, and untangle it and kind of resolve it. But when we were great, you know, which was
Because Leos are bosses too. Like
they're
Leos are very
bosses.
much bosses
Yeah,
too.
they're bosses,
Yeah.
and which is cool. I mean, the one I was married to was absolutely smart as heck. He was a very very smart man.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but again, those times were, and we're spontaneous. We're very, all
That's true.
fire signs are overly spontaneous at times. Sometimes we do stuff and we do it and we're like, oh my God, why did I just do that? That was
Yeah.
so dumb. Right? We
Yeah.
thought it felt good at that time and we were like, yes, I'm going to do, yes, this feels great. Yes. And then we're like, oh, this is not what,
Yeah.
you know, this is not it. Right? And then we gotta back up. We gotta hit reverse and be like,
Retract,
how do
yeah.
I get out of this, right? And so I've been that person many a times in my life. So Leos are exactly the same. We are very spontaneous.
Mhm.
I get along very well with Leos, both Leo men and Leo women. I have friends that are Leo men and friends that are Leo. I'm sorry, Leo men and Leo women. Both. I get along very well with both. And they're
Okay.
fun. Like we
I
like to
would,
have fun. Like you can go on adventures because I'm adventurous. Aries are adventurous. We can do our adventures all day long and be laughing and just having fun all day long. And then when it comes down to business, we back to being bosses. Like, but we can do that
yeah,
together. We bosses.
my dad is a Leo and
Yeah,
my
he's
baby boy is
so
a
fun.
Leo.
Who?
Yes. So
Who?
my baby boy,
Oh yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
baby,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, he's a Leo.
yeah,
And it's very much true. They're very like, wow,
yeah,
like they'll take over.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah. They're very
definitely like,
domineering, very
yeah,
domineering. And again, for a
yeah.
sign like Aries, I need that because we're a
Mm-hmm.
domineering sign. So Leo brings that, lion thing,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, yeah,
Okay.
okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. The next is Virgo.
Virgo for me are born as hell. That's all I can say about them. They're born as hell.
I say this about
They're
Virgo.
deep thinkers, though.
Virgo women I found to be very much like rooted. They really get like in a thing of like if they have an element, they're like reading up on it and like just like they're in
Yes,
like they're
yes,
always involved or looking up
yes,
and searching and trying to find
yes.
ways to,
I would agree with that.
combat or whatever. Yeah,
I would agree with that
they're that.
because I have
I think Virgo. Hmm?
my moon is in Virgo, believe it or not,
Okay.
and I'm that
I didn't know
person.
my moon is in Leo.
Leo, and that's why we get along so well. Is even though I'm good with Cancer, but you have that Leo moon and I have that
Right.
the Aries sun, so we both have
Right.
that
Yes.
drive. Like even though you're
Mm-hmm.
soft, you still have that toughness about you because you're a freaking
Yep.
Leo in
Right.
your moon.
That's
So,
right.
but yeah, I have Virgo. Even though I'm saying I'm saying like Virgo is boring as hell, so I'm kind of calling myself boring, but it's not that part of the Virgo is in my moon. So all that looking up, researching, figuring out how to fix yourself, all that stuff, just being a deep thinker, all of that comes from my Virgo moon. But we can save that for another
Yes.
conversation. But that's where it comes from. Yes, but Virgos for
Yes.
me are
Yeah.
born as
Virgos
hell.
are, and I think also Virgos are they learn to be they learn to try to manage money.
Yep.
Like they like they have rocky starts. I mean, we all
Mm-hmm.
do, but like I
Mm-hmm.
think Virgos they're very much self-taught
Yes,
people.
they are.
They're not naturally like, I got it all. They're
Mm-hmm.
like they really require like really
They think.
teaching themselves how to like,
Yes,
yeah,
they're very
yeah.
deep
They
thinkers
they have to
and
be
deep feelers.
premeditated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was a
Yeah.
Virgo. Beyonce is a Virgo. So they're
No,
very.
Beyonce's
Yes,
not a
she is.
Virgo, is she?
Uh huh.
She's a
Yeah.
Libra, right?
Mm-mm. She's a Virgo.
When is her birthday?
I'm gonna tell you exactly. Cause girl, I'll be
Let's take a look.
memorizing people's zodiac signs, but then I forget your birthday. I'll be like, oh, just like what I did earlier when I was like, Kamala is a yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We can get to her. We can get to
Yeah,
her.
we're gonna get to yeah.
Um. Okay, yeah, she is a
Mm-hmm.
Virgo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, girl, I'm real good at memorizing people's signs. It's ridiculous.
But you said boring. So bottom line is
Yes, for
boring.
me they're boring. But they're deep thinkers. So they're boring as far as like what I would need for like a everyday, like Aries are action people and we're da 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 da. Da. Virgos are very like if you notice, Beyonce and Michael Jackson are very private. They're public, but they're private. They don't let you into their inner world. They have this deep inner world that belongs to them, right? They're both the
This is
same.
true.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's very deep in its inner, and it's wonderful because they're deep, very deep thinkers, very deep feelers, and that's where all of that artistical stuff comes from. It comes from
Yeah.
them. It comes from within
Okay.
them, and they're creators because they pull that out of them. However, I'm not the type like if you go back into yourself and then you just become dull on a daily because trust and believe they're probably very dull on a daily because they do them. So you see them one
Yeah.
way, but they kind of dull out for themselves. For me, that just doesn't work. I'm just like, I can't.
So some other Virgos are just like the most known is Jennifer Hudson. Kobe
Hmm.
Bryant was a Virgo.
Hmm.
Kiki Palmer,
Mm-hmm.
Taraji P. Henson.
Yep.
Hint, huh,
Yep.
huh, and Idris Elba.
Yeah, they're very deep
Virgo.
thinkers. Like these folks are creative as hell. It comes from the inside of them because that's where they bring it from. They don't need anybody to tell them what to do, how to do it. Like they're creators. So they're amazing at creating. But then when they go back into themselves, they become like melatonin. For me, they're like melatonin. And you're just like, okay, so hi, what and they're like really, really melatonin. That for Aries just doesn't.
Okay, because you're right. They're boring. So let's move on because I want to get to this next sign. I got to get to this next sign
All
because
right,
we
go
talked about
ahead.
this
You next.
earlier. So the next sign is Libra. Am I correct?
Yep. Well, we both just looking.
So,
So
so
our current vice president and the presidential nominee, don't know how the hell she got there, but she's there, is a Libra.
and that's Kamala.
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 And let's be clear. Libras will claim what they need to claim for their fame. Okay? She is not a black woman. Let's be clear. She is not an African American woman. Let's be clear about that. She has
Very
not,
clear.
her ancestors have not had the same experience as an African American person. So she
No.
cannot claim African American. As a matter of fact, it's an
Nor does
insult
she.
to the
She
culture.
actually she doesn't. She really doesn't.
But they're giving her that to draw the
I
African
vote.
Americans in.
Yes,
So let's
absolutely.
be clear. And she lets them, even though she still claims her Asian and her Jamaican, she lets them. Now, also know that her family has pretty much disowned her, especially her father. And that happens a lot of times with Libras, is that they get disowned by the people that love them. It's true. They do.
Yes.
Because
Well, okay, for the record, my best friend is a Libra, and my best friend
shout out to Leah.
hangs the shout out. She hangs the moon and the stars to me, so she's off the table. But anywho, and that's just that. So some of the celebrities besides Michelle's next president.
Oh, I don't claim it.
I know you
we'll
don't.
have we'll have a political talk next. But go ahead. That can be the next part.
Some of the other yes, some of the other Libra celebrities is Will Smith. Let's see culture wise. Culture. Will Smith, Serena Williams, Cardi B.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, Lil Wayne. Snoop. Snoop is a Libra. And of course, Kim Kardashian and Amber Rose.
Not surprised. But not surprised about that one. Claim to fame.
Yeah.
Like she what got her there, right? The same thing Kamala. Basically, it was Kamala slept with somebody that got her where she is, and Kim
So
Kardashian.
do you think they're attention whores at some point do you think they're like attention like
They
driven
can be.
or like
Yes.
they're like pick me type of people like
Yes,
pick me.
Yeah, they can be
Yeah.
attention whores, absolutely, and they'll use that their body and all that kind of stuff to rise to the top. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but I've seen it to rise to the top. They can.
I agree.
And I'm not saying all Libras are like that. I'm saying let's make that disclaimer. We're not saying that
Yes.
all are like that, right? But we
These are just
seen
opinions of
some
us.
yes, these are our opinions,
Yes.
and we've
Yes.
just seen some common traits in these folks that have been, similar.
And they are I would say and again this is not anyone that I know. This is just people that I've noted. But they're very hard to be as a partner.
Yes, they can be.
Like a spouse, a partner.
Yes.
A lot of them are, just
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 That
Mhm.
is real. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's from the
Okay. I'm done.
their it's their symbolism is the you know what I'm talking about. Lord have mercy.
Scales.
The
The
scales,
scales.
yeah.
The scales.
Brain fart, sorry. The scales.
That's okay.
So they actually like to be balanced. But I think with that balance, it's a balance that they understand. It's not something for outsiders to understand. Because I don't and
I
but
think it's like a self, like an inner
it's
battle.
an inner battle. It's an inner battle. And
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and and their way of justice, right? They have a
Yeah.
way of how they feel is justice.
I
It could
agree.
be, you know, sleeping with somebody else's man, sleeping to the doing something to get to the top that's not ethical, making a sex tape. I mean, it's but when they grow and they spiritually and emotionally mature, they'll see those traits and be like, I need to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
The yeah, the mature Libra will definitely make adjustments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of them are definitely, you know,
And I
I
dated a
think they,
Libra.
I think they, I think they prefer themselves.
They do. Out of anyone else on the earth, they prefer themselves, and that's why I said
Mm-hmm.
it's an inner thing that they balance. I don't think it has
Yeah.
anything to do with other people.
Yeah.
It's really them. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. What's next?
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Okay. What do you got on the
Hmm.
Scorpio? I have a son that's a Scorpio. He is
I think we're going out of order.
super.
No, we're not.
Are
We're in
we?
order. No, we're in
I
order.
didn't think
We're
so.
in order.
Okay. Okay. He is super freaking amazing. Like a Scorpio is like he's my son. He takes care of his business. He he's just a good person. Like he'll help anybody. Hard worker. Um he's I think like really like the exception of a Scorpio because
Yeah.
I dated a Scorpio before and he was very selfish,
Mm-hmm.
very like all about me. And it's crazy
Mm-hmm.
because Scorpio is a water sign.
Yeah, so you're water, they're water,
So
so you actually get along very well, Scorpio.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
My,
and the men and the women are different. Hands down, they're
yeah.
different. Scorpio women can be very mean. They can be they can have this streak, right? So it's the scorpion has that long tail. And they'll get you with the tail. And you be like, oh, what happened? What happened here? I thought everything was okay. I thought, you know. So they're no
Everything's okay.
everything was okay.
What
Like,
happened?
yeah, it's like so. You know, I'm mixed with that. I think the males are more manageable because they're males, they're less emotional. But the females, God, don't get on their bad side. I was my former friend in life was a Scorpio, and um, they're very unforgiving. They also sometimes can't look themselves in the mirror and say, what did I do also to contribute to this? Some of them can. Some of them can.
Mhm.
But then some of them will only see what the other person did to them. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you brought that on yourself. It's just the
Mhm.
other person reacted to your actions, right? And
Yeah.
they don't like a lot of times to take that accountability. They just turn into mean. They turn mean, basically, and they kind of lose touch.
Thanks. Two cups and 3/4 of being conceited.
They can be.
They have some type of like, they just they're a bit conceited.
I think the low self-esteem sometimes can
Boost,
take them to
yeah.
conceit. And yeah, it can take them to a place of conceit because a lot of them do have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And if they would actually learn to love themselves sincerely, then they would they would know how to love others. Because once you love yourself from a true place, you don't hold a bunch of grudges. You don't,
Yeah.
especially with the people that you love and the people that you call important to your life. That's just not, you're like,
I
hey,
agree.
hey, how can we work this out? Hey, how can we be better? I'm sorry, I apologize, or whatever. A lot of times they don't know how to do that because all they want to do is point the finger and say, you did this to me or you did that to me. And again, not
Yeah.
looking at their own stuff.
Yeah.
So,
What they
and
contribute. Yeah.
and yeah, and they can just be hardcore sometimes for no reason. It's like, calm down.
I think it's a defense.
Calm
I think
down.
it's a defense. I don't think
It
they're
can be
that
a
hard.
defense
I
mechanism.
don't even think they're that conceited because they're convinced of themselves. I think it's again just a facade.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the low self
Of low
esteem maybe
self-esteem.
or the uncertainty. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they're very good. They can be very good organizers. They can be very good accountability partners. They can be very good, like I said, organizing. They can do your books, like keep your finances straight. Like they're good with that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, stuff that gives them kind of a routine and gives them, yeah,
Control.
control. They're very good with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. What's
Hmm.
next?
So next we have
Sag.
Sagittarius.
Okay.
I have
That's
a
your
lot of great
favorite.
friends who are Sagittariuses. Um, Rest in peace to my friend Corey, who was a Sagittarius, and we lost him in 2022. He was my best male friend. And when I tell you, I could tell Corey anything, and he totally understood. He totally understood when I needed a pep talk. He totally understood when he needed to scream in my ear and wake me up, give me the motivation. Let's go, Michelle. Goddamn it. He was my friend, and I never had to worry about my business being exposed to anyone else. I could always go to him with my male situations, and talk to him about those things. So I have a lot of Sagittarius friends. My friend Benita, shout out to Benita, I love you. She's
Yeah.
Benita, apple bomb. Um, she's in Brazil right now. She should be back in a couple days, but
And
nevertheless,
she is definitely a goat of credit
she
repair.
is. She is a credit repair goat, and she's a boss
Mm-hmm.
like me. Again,
Yes.
fire sign. We are bosses. We're adventurous. Um, yeah, she takes on my adventurous spirit. Like, and then as far as bosses, like when we partner up, she and I, like, we literally do some freaking amazing things. And she and I both know, like, I put this in her lap, she puts this in my lap, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. And you're like, what we just did? We just made some freaking magic happen. That's what we did.
Yeah.
So we're straight
Yeah.
up bosses. I've had one of my very best relationships was with the Sagittarius. Hands down, was the one of the best relationships that I've had in my life, and it was a healing relationship, and I grew from it. So hands down to that. So I get along very well. Now I know your perspective is probably going to be a lot different. But go ahead.
Different. I like as far as the male Sag, I feel based on my experience and based on what, of course, I witnessed, and then because I'm. Let me just be clear. So if you know me,
I
and if we
do.
like have the culture, if you know me, and I even have a conversation with you, and one of the first few things I'll ask is, "What's your sign?"
Yep.
Because out of that, I want to know how to categorize you
Hmm.
and be able to just kind of create my own catalog of,
Who
okay,
you
this is
are.
how,
Yeah.
based on what you show me,
Yeah.
then I could then find, the similarities or not.
Hmm.
Because I never want to put anyone in a box of saying like all Sages or all, no. So I
Yeah.
really like do like, it's almost like a all day, always unopened, like
Hmm.
nonstop research. So I
Hmm.
always ask you that. But
Yep.
like the Sages that I've experienced, the males, um, I don't want to say my worst relationship is with a Sag, but Sag men for me are very um they're very just, I think, like militant in a sense. They're very um just total
For
opposite, I
Cancer, it's
feel,
hard.
of
For a Cancer woman,
of me.
yeah, for a
Yeah,
Cancer
yeah, like
woman,
he
it's
doesn't
hard.
provide the emotion, the
Yeah.
love, the definitely great providers,
Mm-hmm.
great like phone a friend, very smart. I would say,
They
like
can
very
be
smart,
emotionally detached.
very smart.
They can
Yeah,
be
just
definitely
yes, very
emotionally
much
detached. And
disconnected,
as far as a
disconnected.
Cancer, yeah, y'all need that. Y'all need that emotionally attached.
I need
And
someone, yeah,
Sagittarius, yeah,
yeah. I need someone
yeah.
present, and I need someone to be able to, provide me with, like, a frequent hug and know that that's normal, but they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, a bit of them are shut off. They can be shut off. Some I've heard some Sagittarius are like just like life of the parties, like, just
Yeah,
kind of
they
like
are.
very social in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yep.
but Sagittarius is the only say that is super great is that they are very smart people.
Very.
They're smart. They're
Very.
smart. They're great at whatever jobs they
Mm-hmm.
select.
Yeah.
And they are driven. Like they love to jump out the
They'll
plane
jump
in a
out the
sense. They're very
plane.
like just spontaneous.
Yep.
Yeah. That
They
type of
are.
thing. So yeah, and I feel like Sag men can be like they like to floss a bit.
They do.
They like to kind of floss a bit. Like they
They
like to
do.
kind of show out a little bit. So
They
yeah,
actually do. Yeah, they do. I agree with
yeah.
that wholeheartedly. They can be definitely flashy. They like getting that money.
Mm-hmm.
They like money. They like being able
Yes.
to do the things that money can afford
Nice
them to
things.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's why most Sagittarius men and women need to be with bosses, because they do like that, so they need that compliment of the boss, of a boss. And like I said,
Okay.
for an emotional sign or a softer sign, they are kind of hard. I mean, no joke. I get along with
They
them
are.
because we're like the siblings of the Zodiac. So we understand each other. But for a softer sign, it definitely could be a challenge. I understand completely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the next we are approaching the end, obviously. So the next is Capricorn. I have quite a
Child.
bit to say about a Capricorn.
Capricorns, they can be mean as hell.
Capricorns, I don't know if anyone listened to, like, back in the day, what is it? Michael Baisden. He used
Hmm.
to every chance he could get, he would bash a Capricorn because Capricorns, for me, and this is all noted based off real people, real things, like Capricorns are very, a lot of them are very driven by music.
They are.
Music is
They are.
a great part of their life. They are
Yep.
either into music or poetry,
Dance.
anything like, yeah, dance, anything of the arts, of self-expression.
Hmm.
And they need it. But I will say Capricorns, period, men and women, they are very much like just all over the place. One
They
minute they're
can be.
doing hair, next minute they're doing nails, next minute, oh no, I'm in nursing school. The
They
next
can
minute
be.
they're yeah, like, and it's just like I was just about to ask you for a bundle.
They also
And
are,
you
they like to complain a lot. They can be
yeah.
negative. They can be very negative people. However, they're very solid people. They're very consistent people. And they can offer you. They like solid longevity relationships. No matter if the relationship is
Yes, they
going good or
do.
bad, they will try to
They
hold
do.
on to that relationship forever. So
Yes.
if you're looking for a long term relationship and someone who won't give up and just walk away like a Sagittarius, right? Like a Sagittarius or a Gemini, because they'll just be like,
Or
"Oh, yeah, I'm
Cancer.
out." Yeah, or that too. Then Capricorn is definitely the sign for you
They'll
because
stick around.
they
They'll stick around.
yeah, they'll stick around. Like you
Decide
could throw
for
rocks
you.
at them and they'll be like, I took your rocks and I brought them to you so you could build something and you but I was trying to make you because I want you to go away. No, here, this is for you. Okay, thanks. Thanks.
They
Yes.
are pressed to
They're
stay.
they're very pressed to stay.
Yeah.
Like I said, unlike Saggies, who will just be like, I'm out with no explanation. Saggies will do that all day, which is that's the one thing I cannot stand about Saggies is they'll just quit on you. And Gemini will quit on you too. Gemini will do that too and have
Yeah.
amnesia. Yeah. But Capricorns, no.
They'll
They gonna be
stay.
they gonna be
They,
like, babe, I took the rocks and I built you a house and this is for you and I want you to have
I made you a necklace. I
yeah.
made you a necklace and earrings.
Exactly. And you'll be like,
Did
seriously,
you want
I'm throwing those
did
rocks
what
at
do what do you want
you.
to do for dinner?
We-
What would you like for dinner?
yes. Like, cut it out. My God. Oh.
Meanwhile, they're bleeding because you didn't throw
Yes.
the
Yes. And then
They
they're
ain't giving
bragging to
up.
people that, yeah,
They ain't giving up.
yeah, they're bragging to people that they actually built you a house with the rocks. And you're like,
Yeah.
but I threw those rocks at you.
Oh gosh, yes. um. So okay, we're wrapping up. So the last is it the last? No, we're not there yet.
No,
Aquarius
you have
is the next
Aquarius.
sign.
I
Aquarius.
have two
So let me tell you
children
about.
who are Aquariuses. I love
Okay,
Aquariuses.
so
Go ahead.
So let me tell you about Aquarius, and this is based on my life research. Aquarius men often have a their existence is based off not really existence, but like the way they are is based off
Mhm.
from their relationship with their mother.
Yes.
They're either super mama boys
Yep, they can
or
be.
they have some type of rift with their mom.
Yeah, so mine are
And
mama's boys.
I promise you, if you know an Aquarius male, what I'm saying to you will hit every time. It's never just like a deep, like, I mean, maybe you'll find one or two, but it's like super mama boys
Mhm.
to the
They
point
can
where it's
be.
like, girl, what? An umbilical cord
They can
tonight?
be.
Or
Yeah.
or it's very much like, oh yeah, I'm close with my dad, or oh yeah, me and my mom, we don't really talk like that.
Mm-hmm. They can be. Mine are definitely mama's boys. I would say my second son is probably a little less of a mama's boy, even though he is, but he's not. He's still very independent of himself. My oldest is more of a mama's boy, definitely. But they are smart. They're loyal. They're creative. They like to help. They like to be there for you. They're go-getters. They're definitely big time go-getters, and they're very independent. My boys, even though they didn't have their father around like they should have, they've managed to still become amazing men. Even though I think I did a pretty good job, but nevertheless, despite that, they have overcome. And I'm not saying that they're perfect and they don't deal with certain issues because they do, but they've managed to
Right.
overcome and be better and made a conscious decision to be better. So they're they're not the type where you got to watch them trickle down and be bad and horrible and you're like, oh my god, what happened? They actually take certain things and it motivates them to be great. So that's what I see in my sons. And Aquarius is the ones that I know have always been go-getters and entrepreneurs,
Well,
always.
I have a son
um
that's an Aquarius, and he's he battles with finding his own way.
and they can, if they can, that's something that they can fall
It's a slow
into.
start, very slow
Yeah.
start,
Yeah.
and just kind of battling to just try to find. Definitely not like a person of like just the norm.
Mhm.
Like we would think the normal thing is for a kid to graduate school, go to college, like
Mhm.
that thing, that routine that people would love to tell us that that's how it should go. A lot of
Mhm.
times Aquarius is like,
They're
okay,
not
let me find my
traditional.
own way.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah, not
traditional at
traditional,
all.
not cookie
No,
cutter, not
not at
yeah.
all.
It's
And
definitely like, let me
a
figure it
lot of them
out.
end up getting rich in life, like Oprah's and Aquarius.
Yes,
They're very
actually,
smart.
yes.
and they'll do a lot of out of the
Yes.
box stuff that people wouldn't imagine doing. And like you said, they can be slow starters depending on what has happened in their life and things like that, and what kind of support they have.
Yeah.
But most of them that I know are go getters, money makers, and they're just not non-traditional. They'll come up with something and you'd be like, wow, okay. Like I can definitely say my sons are go getters. Like they don't they don't wait around for me. That's for sure. You know, I mean, they'll definitely ask mom. They'll say, "Mom, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" Like they'll throw things at me, but they definitely make their own way. So
So
they're
the
like your
last of the
traditional
zodiac,
Aquarius. Who we
yeah,
got last? We
the
got
last of the zodiac signs is a Pisces, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I know this may sound horrible. The culture, please, don't judge me, judge your mother. But Pisces males have a very much jealous spirit.
yes.
Period.
Period. And
Very jealous
very
spirit.
jealous, and it can turn into jealousy, nasty, nice nasty, as they call it. I had a
Rivalry. It becomes like a
yes.
rivalry almost.
It can be
It's a
sick.
very natural.
Yeah.
And they're a water
And they're
sign.
also prone. They are. And they're also
Mm-hmm.
prone to addictions because they use
Wow.
escapism, because they like to come out of
Hmm.
reality and go into their own dream world of escape. So those addictions can be drugs. I can definitely relate. I've dealt with a Pisces. Um, it can be drugs, it can be food, it can be a whole lot of things that they become addicted to. It could be sex, it could be a whole lot of things. But that's their escape because they go into a fantasy world and no one
Yeah.
else is there but them. And you're like, I need
Yeah.
you,
But
earth to whomever, I need you here and present, and I need you in the present so you can know what's going on and how other people feel and how you're affecting them. And sometimes they're just so out of touch that
yeah.
they don't know. Now
But
that
they do. They have a jealous spirit. It's just
yeah.
very. It becomes noticeable in their day to day
Mm-hmm.
routine of conversation or just the things that they do, their habits. It's
Yeah.
noticeable that it's a jealous spirit. If I have $5, they have to kind of like later on say, "Well, I have 10."
Mm-hmm.
If I have a car, they would say, "I have a car in the truck." And it's
Yeah.
like, what are we doing here? Like,
And they absolutely love, and sometimes that's the addiction, is that they love
mm,
and they want to be loved so bad. So, and they learn later on in life how to love themselves because they love so much that they just pursue love all the time. And that could lead into a bunch of failed relationships, a bunch of kids spread out here and there, and this and that, like because they're busy chasing that dream world that they live in, that they forget the reality of, hey, here, we're here in 3D, you know.
yeah,
So, but when they evolve, they can definitely, and I can definitely say that they do become better. They can become better people and become present, but they have to evolve and realize some of the not so good traits and just get better. And when they make a conscious decision to do that, they can actually do it. Yep.
I mean, I've never seen a Pisces man become better in age and time.
I've I've seen them because now and unfortunately some of them just don't live up to their full potential because they go back into escapism, and it doesn't take much for them to go back. You know, they'll show up and
Well, they
be like,
also
"Oh,
have like
wow, this is
excess.
great."
They're compulsive and they're obsessive with certain things as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. But the women are
I've
different. The
never.
women
What are
the
they?
women have escaped.
Rihanna's a
They still have
Pisces woman. Rihanna's a Pisces
yeah.
woman.
And she
Woman.
uses escapism. You can tell that she can literally come out of herself and like, and if you kind of like listen to her or whatever, like she's very airy. She doesn't even sound like she's present sometimes. It's just like, ah, you're like, what? Even in the Super Bowl performance, you see that? I was like, what did I just watch? Like, it just, And some people were like, yeah, reread this. And I was just like, I'm confused what just happened. Yeah. But that, to me, that
So
was totally escapism, that whole performance. Only she understood it.
right.
Yeah. But anyway.
So again, these views of Zodiac is just totally again, this is conversations that Michelle and I have on a regular basis because of again, we are both in industries of people, and we notate, we remember, we categorize, and then of course we share it with each other. Um, and so yeah, but I've learned some new things. I've learned some new things that you may mention to different signs. So now I'm gonna watch for more.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this has been
And
great. This has been absolutely
yes,
positively great.
give it up to the culture. Thank you so much. And of course, you will be back. Green Eyes is obviously she didn't have an opportunity to join us. She is not feeling well,
I hope she
so
feels
we will
better.
pray for her.
Feel better, Green
But
Eyes.
I could not have had a better co-host. And of course she'll be back and back and back more because we have other topics, and who else besides the cousin to have with me. I mean, it
Absolutely.
just makes sense, right?
It just makes total
Yeah. I
sense.
love y'all. Um,
Thanks for having
and
me, Culture.
I love you. Yes. Thank you. And have a good night.
Good night.
Video and go.
Oh, I
And go.
left.
And go. And go.